Hey, I almost forgot to update you about our virtual games night. It was totally fun. A wave of nostalgia swept over us all as we played and laughed like those good old university days. It felt good to reconnect beyond our meetings and brainstorming sessions. We should totally organize one with you next time. Speaking of updates, Midori brought up an interesting thing in one of her chats. She found an online calligraphy class. We all joked that Kiyoshi might end up putting brush strokes of sauce on his plate instead of paper. You know Kiyoshi, the chef artist. Of course, as usual, Midori is always lost somewhere between her sketches, client work, and the disaster zone she calls her room. Out of nowhere, Midori shared her bizarre dream where she was a fish in a fish tank displayed at an art museum. This led to a wacky conversation about dreams and our subconscious. Kiyoshi is planning to make sushi tonight, homemade. Now, you know why I use the word planning. Kiyoshi's surprise ingredients never fail to make my day. I'm not against his creativity, but sometimes it's wise to keep kiwi out of a sushi, right? Anyway, if you want any sushi surprises, you know where to place an order. Remember that conversation about the new book smell versus new car smell? I still can't decide. Well, I'd better run. Need to finish designing electric vehicle specs before bed. Ah, the life of an industrial designer. Catch you later. Started a new thing today. A frisbee throwing league in our local park. It was kind of a spontaneous idea, but it turned out to be a huge hit. Never really expected frisbee throwing to be so favored. I guess we all need these simple joys and nostalgic games to shake off our daily routine once in a while, don't we? Speaking of routines, you remember Kiyoshi and his dessert experiments, right? He has now moved on to a fancy French chestnut dessert called Mont Blanc. I have to say, his culinary adventures never fail to make my day. Midori, on the other hand, seems perfectly content with her convenience store onigiri, which is quintessential Midori. We all are so different, By the way, my frisbee league managed to gather quite an interest. The park was filled with enthusiastic participants. Quite an energetic gathering for a quiet Sunday. Kiyoshi was super supportive and even joked about adding a frisbee coordinator title to my resume. Midori chimed in with her creative ideas. She suggested infusing my car design inspiration with the flying dynamics of a frisbee. Who knows? We might see a frisbee-inspired car model in the future. I kind of love how these casual interactions trigger out-of-the-box thoughts. Oh, and they recommended a movie, The French Dispatch. Apparently, Wes Anderson's creativity is on full display. Eagerly looking forward to tonight's movie time. You know how I love his imaginative storytelling. Also, we're planning our next horror movie night, and the choice is A Tale of Two Sisters. Classic Korean horror. You remember how freaked out we got last time, right? Guess these small thrills are what make life exciting. Anyway, it was indeed a fun day. It's refreshing to see community members of different walks of life come together for such unwinding activities. The Frisbee League not only gave me a solid personal accomplishment, but also some fresh design ideas. If only managing the details of car specs was as simple as throwing a frisbee, eh? Well, can't exactly escape that now, can I? Time to get back to designing remarkable electric vehicles. Maybe they'll have a hint of frisbee, who knows? So, candle making. Yeah, you heard right. Midori apparently raided her mom's kitchen storage and tried her hands on DIY candles. It was indeed amusing picturing Midori doing all that. I asked her to make sure she doesn't set her sketch papers on fire. Midori, no surprises, was amused by my concern. On my end, I tried Korean hanji paper crafting. It wasn't a complex art form, but so interesting, honestly. Went under the guidance of this local lady, Hijin. She has been working with hanji for decades. There was something soothing about crafting with that paper. Subtle texture, warm hues. Almost like translating emotions into tangible things. It's amazing how creating something gives you a new perspective. Like you know how paper is around us all the time, right? Simple, taken for granted. But while crafting, for the first time I was looking at paper with a newfound respect. Witnessing the transformation of that humble material into a piece of art was incredibly gratifying. even brought up the topic in one of our chats, ended up in an amusing brainstorming about a potential art exhibition with Midori's chopstick paintings and sushi by Kiyoshi. Quite hilarious imagining Kiyoshi in a cooking workshop setting, with his unique culinary experiments. This really is the magic of these casual interactions. They often lead to insightful or amusing conversations. Oh, and speaking of Kiyoshi, be ready for some interesting sushi flavors next time with him. Meanwhile, I should probably try conveying my theme of cultural appreciation into my industrial designs. The beauty of simplicity and tradition of Hanji can definitely reflect into some of my upcoming car designs. Ironically, I am all about driving future with electric vehicles, but now I am fascinated by traditional techniques. Well, learning Hanji has been an insightful journey for today. How about you? What's your most unusual art form? Something you initially thought was mundane but ended up totally loving? I think that's enough of my day's rundown. Time to pivot from traditional crafting to working on electric vehicles. Maybe they'll have a hint of Hanji, who knows? All right, need to get back to my EV sketches now. I'll catch you later, bye.